Hello everybody, my name is Christian Quick and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about swords. Now to make a sword, we already have our tool materials, but let's say that I'm going to add another one, right? If you don't want to add another one, you don't have to, but I'm going to add another one. And for this, we're going to call it Amethyst. So from here, we have our amethyst, and it says, there is a problem. That is because we have the semicolon, which is saying, let's close this code, get rid of semicolon, add a comma. Suddenly, everything is fine. Make sure your return items is amethyst, shard. You can do whatever it is. Just make sure it is relating to whatever it is. And then from here, we can take our obsidian pickaxe, Control D, and then we can, it's basically the same thing. Amethyst, amethyst, sword, and then we're going to have to rewrite the whole thing here too, which is going to be amethyst sword. So then we're going to take the tool materials and we're going to do a amethyst because we now have it, and then we have to decide what do we want on here. The amethyst sword, do we want the durability? I'm going to say the durability is going to not be that high. So let's say the durability is simply going to be, let's say 500. And then for mining speed, this is a sword, so it's not really supposed to break stuff that fast. So let's give it a 3. Base attack damage, just so that we can see the difference here. Let's add let's add 5. Enchantability we'll leave at 30. I just like it at 30. Mining level, we could put at 2. And then we'll just leave that as. So now for the attack damage is a base of 5. So with this being 6, it would be 6 and 5, which would be 11 damage, which is a lot, which actually, I don't mind it. 3.5, now this being 6, 3.5 is really fast, so let's make it a little bit slower. This is probably an average, that's probably good speed. For sword, that might be questionable. Now, attack speed actually has a base attribute, so this is still going to be ridiculously fast. I think it starts at 0.5 or 1.5. We can figure out the math after we get into it. But another thing that we're going to need to fix is that it's talking about pickaxe item. All you need to do is ask for a sword item, and now basically you have a sword item. So let's add in all the little details. So we're going to do amethyst sword. So now that is in there. We are going to need to pull in for our data gen model provider, Control D. And then here we are going to need to do amethyst sword. Now, in the last video, I marked this as generated. You're going to want to change it to the handheld because it's held in your hand like a handheld. That just like any weapon is considered handheld. Otherwise, keep it generated. It's just the two things that you need. Anyways, moving on. When you have your block states, because has a name, you are going to call it the amethyst. Oh my goodness. Amethyst sword. And then we'll recall it to the proper capital, a meth sword. And we already gave it its model, we gave it its attributes, so it's basically all done. Let's make a texture for the amethyst sword so it can feel nice at home. Hello, Mr. Editor here, and I am simply just making the texture. It's really not that hard of a texture. There was a little glitch where, as I was trying to add the amethyst, I was seeing the thickness compared to. I was thinking about just slapping it on and then just, you know. But it turns out it translated the color over into the sword color, and as cool as it is, that wasn't supposed to happen. And I feel like actually that was a glitch because it doesn't make sense why that would happen. But I just kind of transferred it over, made a new one. It's fine. And then I've also made a recipes video, so if you want to know how to make a recipe, I mean, it's really not that difficult. I had a link in the comments below for the recipes, and then then I just made an advancement for the recipe. Once you get all that set in though, just make sure that you run the data gem before you run the client, and then you're all good. Alright, here we are in our Minecraft world, and here I know that we have the Amethyst sword, but let us try and make sure that the recipe is working. So then we're going to need a recipe. So we're going to need a crafting table, and we're going to place the block. I need to get out of there. There we go. And then we got this, and the sword, and now we can see that the sword works. We can also see that if we look through here, because we picked up Amethyst and the stick, we do have the recipe automatically unlocked. Now, the 12 is the attack damage, while 5.5 is the attack speed. So you can, when it comes to, let's put this into the what is it? The mod items. So basically, in here we have our 6, and then we said in the materials it is going to be 5. So 5 and 6 technically equals 11. So that means that there is a base of 1 when you make a sword. That means, yeah, so there is a base of 1. So if you wanted this to actually be 11, make sure that you, whatever you have, you subtract 1 from here, and the other one is that this is 1.5, and then if we go into our thing, it says 5.5, and it's only here. So that means this automatically adds 4. So if you wanted this to, if I wanted this to actually be 1.5, I would have to subtract 4. And so that means it would have to be minus, I believe it would be minus 3.5. Could be wrong. But if the base is 4 and I say minus 3.5, this would be minus 2.5. And I'll be left with 1.5. So that is something that is important. But as you can tell, I mean, our sword is here. It does exist. We got some powerful stuff. Critical will probably kill most things, but this is a quick video, and I wanna add another thing before we end. So we not only just have our sword item, we have we can make this more complex basically. So in our item, let's go into Java class, and then let's call this the Amethyst sword. I hope I spelled that right. And then we're going to extend sword item, and we're going to constructor matching super, and then we are going to go into our sword item, and then here we got mining speed, post mine, and then we got post hit. So this is just the one that we are going to be focusing on in here. So let's take the post mine here, and let's actually get rid of this. But there's two things I want to do. So there is target and attacker, ACKER. The target is the entity that the sword hits. The attacker is the player that is holding the sword. So let's say that if we hit add status effect, new status effects instance, status effects dot. So when I hit you, post hit, after the entity gets hit, the target is now going to get, we could say any of the status effects really. Let's say nausea. And then let's say we can control D, and then instead of doing target, let's do the attacker, and then we can set this to status effects, and then let's say glowing. These are both harmless, and now it says that the sword is not being called, so we go in our mod items, and we can easily fix that, Amethyst sword. So now it is being called. Ah, I forgot something. I always forget something. So this wouldn't necessarily give the nausea effect, because as soon as it gives it to them, it would get rid of it, because there is absolutely no duration. You're going to need a duration of ticks. So let's say that this will last for 5 seconds, and then you're going to need an amplifier. So let's put this at 0, And then same thing for this. We'll do 100 and then an amplifier of 0. Here we are in our lovely world. And if I go in and I see that it's got the attack speed is now 1.5, while the attack damage, I mentioned something about changing it, but I didn't actually change it. Let's go ahead and summon a creeper, and then let's run a little faster. And now if I hit him, you can see how I have the glowing, and then he will get nausea. You can't really see it, but he does get it. It doesn't seem like this is actually taking damage to the durability, because it might not actually have a durability. Now, no, it does. No, it does. All right, so to fix the durability, let's add the stack damage to the end. Shouldn't really do anything. We'll just kind of put it there, true, and then here we are. Let's summon a creeper, and then we'll get prepared to run as soon as he gets spawned in. And now when I hit him, I get the glowing. He gets the nausea. You can't really see it, and the durability does get taken away. So that's it. The sword is now done. Thank you guys so much for watching, and without further ado,